Okay, better. Still just have a little bit here, but I think I can take care of that with some glue and sawdust. You can see just that little chunk missing right there. I'll I'll deem that as acceptable for right now. I'm going to create my grooves for my grooves for the glass and the back rabbet, and get pretty close to gluing this thing up, or actually not gluing it up, but going to get a piece of glass made, because that has to go in when it's glued up. The back will be a rabbet, so that goes in later, but let me take this to the table saw, cut these grooves, making sure that I keep this face to the fence, and that's my reference face, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I've got my pieces back together, dry fitted. Everything looks like it's going to line up nice. Now the only way that I can think of to get this figured out is to take and trace this inside. I've got the bottom edge here lined up with the straight edge of the ply, flush. So that's good. And then I'm just going to take and mark this angle. And this is the inside edge. Might as well put a little tick mark here from the bottom. And just do it. Okay, so this when I say I got this clamped, it's just lightly clamped. One click was all. Okay, so I need that plus a quarter, or plus this dimension. Let me get my tri-square here. I need to extend those lines. I'm not really going to worry about this one too much. I think I can get away with eyeballing this. Yeah, it looks good. A bit of dumb luck here as I was making this cut here to get my rough cut for my triangle. This piece that I cut off would fit. So I made another pass on this edge to straighten it out. I've registered it here. And now I'm going to take a little bit more off. I've got a little tear out there. This piece might be just good enough. And we'll see. Actually, before I make that cut, I'm going to go over and trace my piece on here again to get these lines. No, I can make it. I've got enough here. I'm going to make this one more cut to remove that little bit of tear out, see what happens. Then I'll flip it and we'll see how it's going to look. Is I put an 80-tooth blade in here so I get a nice, relatively clean cut on this plywood. Okay, so that was that cut. This will be the next one. Yeah, I've got plenty to work with here, so I'm going to make another cut here. True this side up as well and see how it fits. All right. Believe it or not, this is pretty well true 90. And it's awful close, which means my sled was set up pretty well at 45 degrees. What I'm doing is sticking this corner in here and seeing how much I need to take off of this side. And it's going to get wider up here, but I can keep at this. I've got plenty of material. So I need to adjust my jig so that I'm taking a little more off of this corner and kind of straightening this out. Well, that is good. I like that. Tiny little gaps, but that's a nice place to start. Now, the question is, where do I mark this? Right here. Right at that intersection. I want to be wide of that. It just goes. Got it in the wrong way though, actually. Shouldn't matter. Now I don't want it to spread that case. And this will go in last after it's glued up, so it should be okay. Been using this as a template for my piece of plexiglass that I have to go purchase. I think this is going to work out just fine. If there's any discrepancies in the plexiglass, I can take care of that with a hand plane. It looks good. It looks really good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. I'm going to take this to my local glass shop and have them cut me a piece of plexiglass this big. Alright, I just got back from the glass shop, and the gentleman there is a very nice guy, ex-military guy himself. Said, you don't want plexiglass, you want glass, because it won't scratch, it won't yellow and all that good stuff. So I got double strength 1/8 inch glass, $10. So he's got the angle, and he was a little upset with me because it wasn't 90 degrees. But he did the work, cut it, nipped it off, and then hit it with his belt sander, and it really trued up nice. So the angle is good, it's just a hair large. So what I'm going to have to do is run those kerfs one more time and take them down just a smidge so that this thing will drop in there. And that's what I'm going to do now. Take this apart, get my blade reset up, and recut these inside kerfs. All right, glass fits, the back fits, little tension on the band clamp, and it comes together. I like it. Gotta get the back out. All right, I got a little shellac on these. It's dry, but I'm still going to give it some time to really cure, I guess. Just a few coats. I'm not really interested in protection, I'm interested in color. And I've got the inside color. You're not even going to hardly see any of this. This is the only edge you're really going to take notice of, is this one right here. As long as that's got good color, I'm okay with that. Ready for glue. I cleaned the glass, and I thought about doing something different here, but while I was looking at this joint, I could put a little bit of finger pressure on it and it would close up much nicer. So I decided to use these clamping blocks that I have in my miter frame kit to draw this joint together. I wanted to make sure I wasn't distorting it at all. The back still goes on nicely, and I put these stops on the ends here to keep this from sliding out. But it didn't seem like it wanted to move anyway, so I'm happy with this setup. So I'm going to put the glue on these joints. Put it together and let it sit overnight. don't care how many dry fits you do. There's something about a live glue up that's just not quite the same. So I've got it together. Glass is in. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to have to let it sit. And come back in a couple hours or maybe even tomorrow morning and take it apart and see what it looks like.